Welcome to SSLC Second Language English Supplementary Reading 4 The Bird of Happiness, a Tibetan folktale. All of us want to be happy, don't we? But how can we be happy? Is it by acquiring money, power, or wealth, or is it by living in tune with nature? Can you give some examples to prove your point? Clues are given in each box. Sources of happiness: speaking, showing sympathy for others, being useful to others, living in tune with the nature, acquiring money, acquiring good qualities, thinking of good of others. The Bird of Happiness, a Tibetan folktale by Liu Jude. In ancient days, there was a poor area in Tibet which had no rivers or good land, no warmth or fresh flowers, no trees or green grass. The people who lived there suffered from hunger and cold all year round and did not know what happiness was like. Despite this, they still believed that happiness must exist somewhere in the world. The old folk used to say that happiness was a beautiful bird living on a snowy mountain far, far away in the east. However, the bird flew happiness went with it. Every year, people went to look for this bird, but not one of them did ever return. The bird of happiness was said to be guarded by three old monsters who could kill a man by simply blowing through their long beards. Once an extremely bright boy called Vengia was sent to find the bird of happiness. On his departure, the girls of the village offered him barley wine, and the mothers, in accordance with Tibetan custom, spread barley grains on his head to wish him a good journey. Vengia walked eastwards for many days until he saw ahead of him a large mountain covered with snow that shone like silver. Just at that moment, an old monster with a black beard appeared in the path. "Who goes there?" he cried like a crow. "How dare you come here? What are you after?" "My name is Vangia, and I have come to look for the bird of happiness." "Ha ha ha," laughed the old monster. "How could a little child like you, no longer than an egg, dare to set foot here? If you want to find the bird of happiness, first you must kill Lawsang's mother, otherwise you will be punished." "I don't need to do anything myself in order to kill a funny little thing like you. I'll just make you walk 900 miles across Scree and you will be done for it." Vangia replied, "I love my mother and I'll never kill another person's." "Do as you please." The old monster flew into a rage. He immediately began to blow through his beard, and in the twinkling of an eye, the smooth road became a vast scree. Every stone on it was as sharp as a knife. After the first 100 miles, the soles of Vengia's boots were ripped apart by the stones. After the second 100 miles, his feet were cut into pieces, and after the third 100 miles, his hands were torn to shreds. "This is tough going," he thought to himself. "Will I ever make it? Had I better turn back now?" No, never. He could not bring himself to turn back. He knew that the people at home were waiting for him to bring back happiness. Benjia lay on the ground and began to crawl forward. His clothes were torn, his knees and shoulders were bruised. Finally, he reached the end of his journey, and there he found another old monster with a brown beard and a voice like the whistling wind waiting for him. "If you want to see the bird of happiness," howled the monster, "you must poison old Gaffer Silong first. If you won't do it, I will starve you to death." Starve you to death. Looking him defiantly in the face, Vengia replied, "You can shout for all you are worth, but I am fond of my own grandpa and I will never kill another man's." In a fury, the old monster blew through his long beard, and Vanchia's bread bag flew into the sky. Before his eyes, the blue mountains and green rivers were turned into a boundless desert with not a scarp of food to be found. Ventura set off again. After the first 100 miles, his stomach began rumbling with hunger. After the second 100 miles, he was so hungry that his head swam and he began to see stars. After the third 100 miles, he was so hungry that there was a sharp pain in his guts, as if they were being cut by a knife. Anyone who has ever starved knows what he suffered. Venchia went to a river, drank plenty of cold water, and continued on his way. By the time he reached his journey's end, he was nothing but skin and bone. There in his path stood another old monster with a white beard. "What reckless fool has dared to come here?" he thundered. "My name is Vengia, and I have come here to look for the bird of happiness. If you want to see the bird of happiness, you must bring me Bhima's eyeballs. If you dare to say no, I will gouge out your eyeballs at once." Vengia bowed his head and thought for a while. Then he answered, "You must be dreaming. No one has the right to destroy a girl's pretty eyes. It's never gouge Bhima's eyes. I'll never gouge Bhima's eyes." The old monster screamed with rage. He immediately began to blow through his long beard, and Benjia's eyeballs jumped out of his sockets and he became blind. "This must be the last ordeal," he thought. "I must keep going in the direction of the rising sun. That must be the place where the bird of happiness lives." Groping his way with his hands on the ground, Venchia crawled another 900 miles. He clambered to the peak of a snow-covered mountain, and there he heard the voice of the bird of happiness. "My lovely child, have you come here for me?" Overwhelmed with joy, Venchia replied, "Yes, I have. My people long to see you day and night. Please come back with me." The bird of happiness kissed Venchia gently with its wings and sang for him. His eyeballs flew back to their sockets, and now he saw much more brightly than before. All his wounds were healed, and he was stronger than ever. The bird of happiness offered Venchia some dried meat and cream cake and then bore him back to his home village. They landed on a mountain top. "What is it that you want?" asked the bird of happiness. Venchia replied, "We want warmth and happiness, forests and flowers, fields and rivers." Standing on the mountain top, the bird of happiness gave three loud cries. At the first cry, the golden sun broke through the clouds and a warm breeze came down from the sky. At the second cry, stretch upon stretch of forest appeared all over the mountains. Mountain beech and other mountain flowers bloomed together, and thrushes and larks led a chorus of bird song. At the third cry, green rivers and fields came into view, and little white rabbits danced merrily on the grass. From that day on, the people in that poor place never suffered hardships again. Thank you.